Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. For the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest, and his name is Vincent Ranola. He's an actor, and we're going to talk to him about some of his roles. And he's a sports guy. He played some sports. We're going to talk about that as well, and about his life. I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, as you can already tell, and I am the host of the Grue Rume Show. And my interview with Vincent will be coming up very soon. This is my Grue Rume, and as always, my gruelings. Welcome to my nightmare. So stay tuned. All right, buddy. Welcome to Grue, and thank you so much for being my guest. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Rocco. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely, man. I guess like the first question I want to ask you, typical question is what drew you to want to act? Like when did your passion start for wanting to be an actor?
It's a great question. I think I've always had a knack for the arts since I was a kid. I grew up playing the drums and the piano, and so it's always been kind of in that verse. From my point of view, acting is something I always wanted to do. Like I don't remember not wanting to kind of like, do that kind of stuff, but I will tell you like what made me really want to be like on the big screen one day as a kid in elementary school was Star Wars. That was my kind of
Oh,
jumping off
nice.
point. I always wanted to be a Jedi and have a lightsaber and do the whole thing. But also, I don't know if you're familiar, but for episode 3, there's this like behind the scenes movie of the entire, from
Yes.
conception to it
Yeah.
coming out. And I watched that probably more than I watched the film itself as a kid. I loved seeing how the film was made. Yeah, and it touched on everything, like, the writing, catering, the producing, VFX, the acting, of
Hmm.
course, stunt work, set design, and like, that's a very big budget thing. And so,
Oh, yeah.
so far I haven't really seen anything on that scale myself, of course, but like, that I think was my jumping off point, with kind of lo like just falling in love with the whole process and then kind of wanting to be a part of that. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
It's like I did wrestling. Like I used to do like pro wrestling, not the WWE, of course, but like that kind of
Actual like
wrestling.
wrestling and okay.
Well, yeah, it's on the lines of WWE. I just never made
Oh,
it to
wow.
that level. Like it was pro wrestling, the wrestling, it's scripted and stuff. It was that kind of wrestling.
Totally.
And one of the matches that I had the stormtroopers come out to the ring with me, and it was the craziest thing. Like
No way.
all these stormtroopers are walking out to the ring, and I'm walking there, and because they were just doing a Comic-Con, and the owner of the wrestling promotion was like, "Oh, we hired these cosplayers for the stormtroopers, and we don't have nowhere to put them at, so we're going to make them come out to the ring and walk into the
That's
ring." I
cool.
was like,
Were they like
"Okay,
escorting you or what? Were they like your
yeah, they
security?
were
Yeah.
escorting me to the ring."
That's so
Yeah.
cool. That is awesome. Were you like what was your character kind of? Were you like more of a
It
villain
was like a
character or
that was like that. That's the funny thing. I was the bad guy, the villain, and my character was kind of dark. It was like a horror kind of gimmick, like a scary gimmick. And I was like, I'm not don't fit my gimmick, but yeah, it'll come out to the. I don't care.
yeah, right? I mean, who can say no to that? I think that's awesome, you know?
Yeah,
Like, does it make
exactly.
any sense? Like maybe not, but who cares? It looks dope, you know? Who can say they were
Yeah,
escorted to a wrestling ring by stormtroopers?
yeah, my stormtroopers. Yeah,
That's actually really cool. Yeah.
I after we get off the interview, I have to send you over the video. It's funny.
Yeah,
It's so
please.
funny.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
And I see like when you started to act, like you've done like a lot of plays and stuff, theater work. And is there any play that you had the most fun doing, the most fun with?
That's a really good question. I haven't thought about that in a long time. That I've had the most fun on. I would say, so I did a play. It was my first ever play. It was called The Sparrow.
Okay.
And um I had like a little part. I played like the younger brother of the lead character, and it's like literally one scene in the whole play. But it was a high school play, and I was in 6th grade at the time, and my counselor, her name was Miss Raber. Um, she knew that wanted to be an actor, that I wanted to be in theater and stuff like that. And she's like, well, listen, there was kind of an opening in the play for extraneous circumstances. And she's like, we need someone to kind of come up last minute. Do you want to be in this high school play? And I'm like, of course. And I felt like I was getting called up to the big leagues. And so it wasn't necessarily like, the acting itself that was like super fulfilling or whatever, but it
Mhm.
was just being surrounded by people who were better than me and they felt like big siblings. Like they were all so cool. I have like so many core memories from just hanging out, backstage with them and
Oh, wow.
like the pre-show ritual. Like, it's a secret. You can't share it, but it's like
Well,
this
yeah, of
whole.
course.
It's all wholesome. You know what I mean? And it was a really great experience. And at that time, it was one of those moments in my life, and I've had a few, but it was really one of those first moments where I was like, maybe there's a place for me here. The fact that I'm getting called up, like, and she was really just throwing me a bone. She was doing me a favor, but like, my counselor, but who was also directing the show. Sorry, I hop all over the place. She directed the show, also happened to be my middle school counselor, and
Nice.
she had called me up to be a part of the show. That's the story in short. But yeah, I remember. I feel like I don't have any specific memories with like talking to my mom or my dad about it, but I know in my heart that there was some sort of conversation of me being really like, wow, like maybe I have something and maybe there's, a place for me in the world of acting. So probably that one. And I just want to say one more thing. I haven't done theater in a while, but one thing I miss about it, because your question also brought up this feeling of like, what was your favorite thing to do?
Yeah.
But it was every show is such a rush that I'd been a part of because it's like, when you're doing film, it's not that it's easier, but if you screw up, you can
Oh,
you can
yeah.
either
You
keep
could you
going
could
and
do
they
it
can
over.
cut it out, or you could do it over again, or
Yeah.
you could do another take, get a pickup, whatever. But in theater, it's just once you're going and it's like there's this feeling, and you hear the people talking outside, and the lights dim, and your heart's going like super fast, and it's just such a rush, and it's like the first two lines, and I'll speak for myself, but I've heard kind of
Mhm.
similar like reception from people that have also done it that I've talked to. But it's like the first two lines, you just got to get through those. And then once you get through it, it's like you're just riding that wave the whole time,
Oh, wow.
and of course, like, when you're off stage and like before each scene, maybe you get like a little bit that kind of like, nervous
Yeah.
excitement. But it's the first, when the show starts, it's like very nerve-wracking, And I think that comes from a place of caring, but that was such a rush. And lately in my life, I've actually been thinking about like maybe I should get back into theater, and
Oh, really?
maybe I might find something new about acting that I love again, or maybe it'll make me refine something that I don't know I lost. So, thank you for that question because it actually like made me think a lot. I was like, wow, yeah. So that's my long answer. That's my TED Talk for you.
Oh, no, I love it because like with you only get like that one take when you're live like on stage, but like film and TV is different, and it must be like when if you like screw up a line, like you just have to hope that no one notices it, right? And just keep on going forward.
Totally, yeah. And you just have to keep moving forward. That's it. Because if you think about it
Yeah.
too much, then you're gonna stay on it and you're gonna trip up again. So it's like, I am not an athlete myself, but I hear a similar thing when it comes to, when you're playing in a game. It's like if you make an error or you screw up, it's like you just got to keep moving forward. It's all about the mental.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
and you can't get too hung up on the mistakes because we all make mistakes and it sucks and
Of
it's
course.
embarrassing or whatever. But yeah, you just gotta keep going, I guess, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you mentioned like you played drums and stuff. Did you ever have a band? Like, did you ever make music too?
Unfortunately, I never had a band. I that was something like in like late elementary, middle, and even early high school. I'm like, man, like it'd be awesome if I could be in a band one day. And but not too many people are into the style of music that I'm into, which is kind of more classic rock,
Oh,
like
yeah.
in the vein of like maybe like Boston or Journey,
Oh,
or even
nice,
like Bee
nice.
Gees or Michael, Earth, Wind and Fire, like that whole Chicago. I don't know if you're familiar with all those
Oh,
bands,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
that sound is something that was really hard to find people that were into the same thing and then also could play instruments. You know what I mean? And so, unfortunately, not. I actually played at my church up until moving to LA. I'm from back home, or I'm from back home. I'm from Indiana, and it's like 45 minutes out of Chicago.
Okay.
And I moved to LA 2.5 years ago now, but up until moving, I'd play like about once a month or twice a month. So in a way, like, I don't want to say it was a band because that wouldn't be the right heart posture to have on that. We were serving a different purpose, but it felt like that. It was a family, and everyone kind of knew each other's playing styles, and we were encouraged to really lean into being in the pocket for sound, and I have a lot of great memories doing that as well. But that was for drums only. Piano.
Well, yeah.
I'd stop. I'm self-taught with the drums, and I'm a little bit better at the drums. Piano, I
Oh,
can
good.
I can
Wow.
play. Yeah, piano I can play, and I was taught, and I was told many times, don't quit your lessons. You're gonna regret it. And who would have thought the adults were right? At like 13 years old, I thought I knew better. So, I definitely want to come around to reading music again. But
No,
yeah,
you could make music for your films, right?
yeah, I guess, yeah, I suppose, yeah, maybe one day, yeah.
Right.
I don't think I'm no
And
John Williams though. I mean, or Hans Zimmer or any of those guys. I mean, they kill it. But
oh yeah. And like, when you moved like to Cali uh, uh, from what I hear, the traffic there is crazy. Like, have you gotten used to the traffic and the California life yet?
yeah, I've gotten used to it, but it doesn't make it any less frustrating. And apologies to the Angelinos, but I mean, it is just the driving out here is just so bad. I mean, it's probably about 2 to 3 near misses a day if you're like out and about, of people
Oh
kind
my
of cutting
God.
into your lane. They don't put on their signals, and I've kind of learned why is because if you put your signal on, someone's not going to let you in. They will purposely like not let you in, and so I get
Hmm.
it. But it's also like you definitely got to have your head on a swivel and. It's not, back home, if I went on a drive, it was something to like relax and kind of cruise down a road. And
Well,
there's
yeah.
kind of just some country fields going by for like 10 minutes. And it's like a nice place to clear your head. And out here, it's like the total opposite. It's, you know, I just throw on good music and I try and focus on that. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
now, do you currently live in New York or the East Coast?
Philly. Yeah,
Philly.
yeah,
Okay,
Philly,
cool.
yeah.
Very cool. How's the driving out there? Is it pretty tame or is it?
It's almost the same as California. Like the driving in Philadelphia is pretty crazy. A lot of people rude, and you drive, and someone always has their hand out the window with their finger up.
Okay. Okay. I think I've gotten that twice that I've noticed so far. I was driving, my dad was visiting one time and I was driving with him on the highway and I made a move where I'm like, it's the move I had to make, but I'm like that, this guy's not going to like it. And sure enough, he buzzes past me and he's like flipping us off. And I'm like, well, there you go,
Yes, yes.
you know, but
That
it is what it
happens.
is.
That happens here a lot. Like Philly is called the city of brotherly love. I don't know who came up with that. Like, I
Yeah.
really don't. Like, there's not a lot of brotherly love in Philly. Like, there's a
Maybe at a
lot of
time, right?
intense people.
That's funny. I haven't been there yet. I flew into Philly. I have a brother who
Good.
lives in New York. And so I've done like the drive, from Philly to New York, but I've never like experienced the city before.
Oh, okay. Well, there are parts of Philly that are like that people are nice, and like the tourist areas, like all the tourist areas are like really cool,
Cool.
and the, Philly's known for their cheesesteaks too, and usually like the
Yes.
cheesesteak shops are real awesome, and the Rocky Steps and all that stuff, and yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm sure I'll visit it one day.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you ever do, I'll show you where to get a
Yeah, man.
cheesesteak at, and you could run up the Rocky Steps.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, I gotta earn it, right? Gotta burn it off right after. So there's the payoff. So
Right.
yeah,
And
that's awesome.
and like sports, like, have, because I know you're currently in a film, and it's like a love story, but also about hockey. And
Yeah.
have you ever played hockey or any sports?
I am no athlete, but I've partaken in a couple different sports growing up. Like I played ball growing up as a kid. I did swimming for a year. Um, I played pond hockey with my friends, and that was kind of like how I got my in. You know, my buddies back home who actually played hockey helped me shoot a little reel of me just kind of skating around, shooting a puck. And Christiane, the director of the hockey project, when I submitted for it, she's like, you don't really find a lot of actors who can skate. And the editing, I mean, they did a favor for me because there's many times where I could tell like they cut right before I fell on my ass. You know what I mean? And there was like maybe two or three shots where I'm like, all right, that looked pretty good. But the rest of it, like, I know, I'm not a hockey player. I happen to be able to skate and shoot a little bit. But um, yeah, I think I've always had like maybe athletic potential, but I never really went down that path.
Okay,
I
okay.
mean, my view on sports is my first ever sport I played, I believe, was soccer, and I was in
Oh,
preschool,
nice.
and pretty much, I remember this happening. I was, going to kick the ball in the net, and of course the goalie blocked it as they're supposed to do, but I didn't get how the game worked. And so I just walked off the field because I didn't get why they blocked. I was like, it was going to go in and they blocked it. I went to the park and I like played for the rest of the game, and that was it. And I feel horrible now. That's so embarrassing. And my poor parents probably paid for like a jersey and to be in
Yeah,
the
right.
league and all that stuff. So I never asked them if they got their money back. But that's kind of my relationship with sports, you know.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, off to a bad start for sure. But but I'm glad that my parents were willing to let my brothers and I kind of explore, and they never really
Oh,
forced us
yeah.
to do anything. But they're like, yeah, like try this out, try that out, get your feel. So
So like I mean like filming this film did you watch like a lot of hockey games just to get like ready to play a hockey player?
yes, I actually watched some stuff from Bedard. I don't know, I don't know if you're familiar with Connor Bedard.
Oh wait, yeah,
But
the wait, is he with the Blackhawks?
yes, which
Yes,
is
yeah.
where I'm from. We all root for the Hawks.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
and he's like the new young hot shot. He's younger than me and
Yes.
he's killing it, which is crazy. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. But I watched a couple videos of him in I don't think in any way I was able to emulate anything he's done, but just to get like an idea of like where should my legs be when I'm shooting the puck, how to make it look decent. And the one thing I did notice is like how I believe he put his pressure on his back right leg when he'd shoot the puck, and that kid's got just a hell of a shot. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
There's a whole story. I watched him like talk about it, and there's like a whole story behind why that is, and I'm not going to bore you with that.
Oh no,
But
no, no,
yeah,
you
I
can tell
definitely
it. I
wanted to
don't
like
care.
see if I could like emulate that physicality and how much that affected what I did. I don't know. Um, but and I will say, not to make an excuse, but the ice that we were playing on was very, very cold, and it was actually apparently it was where they invented the Zamboni, where we played. They
Oh.
literally had like the first ever Zamboni, like just on display at the place,
Oh my
which
God,
was
that's
kind of
awesome.
interesting. Yeah. And but the ice was very dry and hard, which for a guy like me who's not extremely experienced, I would slip a little bit. Like usually the ice can have like a little bit of moisture in it, not a whole lot, but a little bit to where you can kind of like dig in.
Yeah,
And on
yeah.
this one, like when I was stopping, I was kind of slipping and sliding. And so I would play better on the back half of the day when the ice got a little bit dirtier. But when it was
Okay.
clean, I was like, is there something wrong with my skates? And Chris Nelly, who was our hockey coordinator, and he actually worked on a bunch of crazy projects like Miracle on Ice he did, and um, he's working on a lot of stuff right now as well, and he was awesome. But he checked my skates and he kind of looked at me and he's like, there's nothing wrong with the skates, man. I'm like, it's me. I'm the problem. So, I think I could have done maybe a little bit better than I actually ended up doing, just because I was used to playing on the ice that we had back home, which is like pond ice, which is
Oh
not,
yeah.
it's not treated at all. It's bumpy and it's messy and whatever. So I found my groove there, but I have to get a little bit better on the actual rink.
See, at least like you knew like they really didn't have to train you how to play hockey because you already had a little bit experience like skating and playing hockey. So they really didn't probably have to show you a lot of stuff, right?
Correct. Yeah. Nelly was he had a couple of the guys that were also helping out, Mark Huber and Andrew Wong. They had just run me through a couple rudiments on the training day just to kind of build strength in my legs and find my balance a little bit better than I had. Again, I don't know how much that played into like what actually happened, because you can only learn so much in like, 30 minutes.
Yeah, true.
Uh, but I really appreciate that they were willing to help out and, and see what they could do. But yeah, they didn't really have to teach me anything because there was nothing to teach. And even the director, Christiane, was very insistent on like Vince, like it's just got to look good in a moment of time, you
Yeah.
know. And most of the time, we're like shooting kind of from like the knee up, so it's like you don't really got to worry about looking perfect. And I suffer a little bit from being a perfectionist and like I look at, a good handful of the shots. I'm like, I could have done that better. Or I wish I wasn't hunching over so much. Or I wish I had more of like uh, a stance that looked like I was owning it as opposed to kind of being like, a little bit crouched in or whatever. But those are things that you just take with you and you learn that lesson. But I told Cruz, I said, as long as you're happy, then I'm happy. I'm going to do my best for you. And as long as you're getting what you want, then I'm happy,
Oh,
So,
I mean, I think everybody is like that though. Like when I do my podcast, like when I have guests on it, interview them, like the only time I ever watch it back is when I have to post it, and then after I post it, I never watch it again because
mhm.
I said I'm like, oh, I hate my voice.
I think we all have that for sure. I hear of a lot of actors who don't really watch the projects that they've made. I believe Adam Driver, who tying it back to Star Wars, who played Kylo Ren in the sequel trilogy. I could be wrong. I don't want to misquote him, but I think he said like in an interview, he's like, I don't typically watch my stuff after I do it because I don't like to watch myself. He's like, but I was in Star Wars and I had to watch that.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's like one of the only times that he's like, saw what he did. But yeah, I hear of a lot of actors who don't typically like to watch their work because,
Hmm.
what works for someone else, like when you know yourself and when you know every little thing about you, you're like, oh, I suck, or I didn't do that
I
right,
know,
or.
right? Exactly.
So you just got to kind of like sometimes it's better just to kind of do your thing and do your best and then
Hmm.
let it go and allow other people to enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah, true, true. What was I just recently interviewed the singer David Archuleta, and I thought
That's
I did
awesome.
horrible. Like after I was done the interview, I was like so embarrassed, and I emailed his person that that booked it, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I was horrible in this interview. I'm usually not like this. I was nervous." And the guy's like, "What are you talking about? You did fine." And I was like, "You sure?" I said, "Can we do it over?" He's like, "No, he's busy."
Yeah, right. That's crazy. I remember like when I was younger, my aunt loved David Archuleta.
Yeah,
He had
yeah.
like his CD at the time, and I
Yes.
believe it was around like the 2010s, like around 2010 in that
Hmm.
area was when I remember her having like his CD, and she's like, "You could be like him one day," and this and that. So that's crazy. That's awesome that you got to interview him. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And to
Thank
bounce
you.
off of what you're saying, I totally get what you're like. Even right now, I'm thinking about like, I'm like, oh boy, I think I'm not doing a good job in this interview. And so like, you know, from what I've learned so far, and maybe there are really people who don't feel this way, but I think a lot of us are just
Hmm.
kind of playing bluff. We all got to pretend like we're
True.
not thinking those things, and we
True.
all got to pretend like we're the most confident people on the planet, and like nothing's phasing us, or like we don't overthink. But that's only, we're human, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
what it
yeah,
is,
of course.
you know. So I'm totally with you. Like right now, I'm even thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, I hope I'm not talking too much because I feel like I can kind of go on tangents a lot when it
No,
comes
you're
to telling a
doing
story.
great.
So, oh,
You're
thanks.
you're doing great. Like I love hearing stories. Like I mean, that's like the point of like that's what I love about interviewing like different guests. Like I love interacting, like listening to stories and talking to them and like if they just have like a straight face, then don't look like they want to be there and like give me one word answers. I know to end it fast.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. I mean, I'm not PR trained, but the way I approach this is like, do my best to not think about it being recorded and like we're just kind of talking
Oh
as
yeah,
buddies. So, yeah.
yeah, definitely. That I mean, that's
Because
how
once I
I.
think about that, I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So,
And, and with this film, like, how did you find out about it and get to be part of the Vert world.
Yeah, I'm not very I wasn't very familiar with the vertical world. I'd heard about it and like, when you're like an up and coming actor, I feel like a lot of people are kind of beginning to understand that this is like a new kind of thing working its way into LA and all this kind of stuff. That morning, I was actually supposed to be on this a pilot, which is like it was going to be like a proof of concept pilot for a TV show where I would be playing
Oh,
the guitar. I was just about to get guitar lessons from this guy, and it was a whole thing. And that morning, I unfortunately got a text from the showrunner, and he was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry to let you, I appreciate your enthusiasm and you've been super, great to work with thus far with all the auditions, etc. But I had a script doctor go over the pilot, and he thinks it's best that your character be changed into a guy in his mid 40s." And I was like,
in
"Oh,
his mid 40s.
yeah, it killed me." And I was like, well,
Oh,
it's kind of like it's like Motley Crue then, where it's like you got the young guys in the band and then your guitarist is like a guy who's a little bit older, but I'm like, that's fine if that's what you want to make. I wish him the best. He was great, he seemed like a great guy. Um, but it was a bummer. And then right after that, I did my daily kind of search to see,
hmm.
what to submit for, etc. And luckily I have an agent. And so they're usually submitting me for the exclusive stuff that I have no access to,
Oh, okay.
like stuff
Yeah.
maybe from like Netflix or from
Yeah.
from all
Yeah.
that. And it's a great opportunity when they kind of they're like, all right, let the kid in, let him throw up a tape for it, and we'll see how he does. You know what I mean? Because I'm still, you got to work on credibility over time. Um, but yeah, I submitted, in a slew of projects. I submitted for Power Play, the hockey one, and um, I was on my way to just do some background work to get some cash, and I got a call from the director, just like a straight call, and she's like, "Is this Vince?" I said, "Yeah." She's like, "Hi, I'm Christiane. I'm the director of the hockey project you submitted for." And
Nice.
we talked back and forth, and she kept it very straightforward, and she was super personable, and she's like, "Yeah, like I like you. You look young, and I know the studio wants to go for someone a little older, a little more, you know." Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
less of a
Yeah.
baby face, and I get that. I mean, that's what it is. But she's like, I really see something in you, and you could play hockey. It's really hard to
Yeah.
find that. And so I'm gonna try and convince them to do it, and I'll have you throw up an audition like by the end of the month. I'm like, okay, perfect. And so I ended up putting up a tape, and they're asking me all these questions like, can I grow a beard? And I'm like, not a good one, and this and that, and that like she's really doing her best for me. And I'm just like, you know what, whatever happens, happens. I'm thankful that there's somebody out there who was willing to vouch for me. That was pretty cool. And it ended up working out. They were convinced, I guess the audition convinced
Yeah.
them that I can play the character that they were going for, and that's kind of how it all came into fruition. So, I guess it was a personal lesson in my life of like even when you kind of get hit with something that is like a roadblock or a bummer, to put it
Hmm.
lightly, to just, kind of, keep your head up and keep moving forward and do your best to keep a positive attitude. And I was even talking to my roommate like that morning. I got the text like while I was just having breakfast with him. I was like, "Oh man, dude, this project, like I just got the boot." And he's like, "Dude, I'm so sorry," and this and that. And like, but that's just how it is. You know what I mean? That's how it goes. And like, I would say most days it's all right, and I can keep moving forward, and I'm very headstrong, and um, I have the end goal in sight. But then some days, yeah, it does bother you, and it affects you, and you wonder, like, is this what I'm supposed to do? Is there a place for me here? Even if it does work out, is this what I want? Which is a scary
Yeah.
question. I think it's a very scary question that I allow myself to think through because I don't want to blindly go through my life. You know what I mean? I want to make sure I know what I'm doing and why.
Hmm.
Because I made that mistake, growing up. And again, like when you fail, you try and learn your lesson. And so I try now to be a lot more intentional about the things I'm doing, including like what am I pursuing in my life and why am I doing it? And so even on a personal level, like when things aren't happening to you, like good or bad, like you're getting your auditions and nothing necessarily bad's happening, but then you got to deal with the personal side of things, which is, do I even want to be an actor?
Oh no. Yeah.
And a lot of
Well,
people won't, a lot of people won't admit that they feel that way because,
yeah.
I think there's like this stigma of like, oh, then you don't really want it, or, and I think that's I don't mean to sound like or give it hyperbole, but like I think that's uh an unfair thing to say. you know?
Oh, yeah,
The
it
idea of
is.
questioning something meaning that you don't really want it. I don't think that's true at all because I mean it's like, well, you don't really want it. It's like, well, no, that's actually what I'm questioning right now. Do I? You know what I mean? And so far I've always come back around to yes, this is, I think this is my calling and I'm gonna keep going
Oh,
for it as
for
long as I
sure.
have the means to and the ability, which I'm thankful that I even have a chance. Um so yeah, I know I kind of veered off of the original line
No,
of
no,
question, but
no.
like I think that harkening back to the auditioning process, I think that like you know, um, it is so much bigger than just that because again, you're a human being who's also dealing with your, real life and all that kind of stuff. So it's not just the no's that hurt, but it's also personal failures and the coulda,
Oh, I
shoulda,
know.
wouldas. And like you look back a year ago and you're like, oh, I could have worked harder. Maybe I'd be in a different place now. But I always try and give myself grace. My mom always says, Vince, give yourself some grace. And it's really about like, okay, now that you know that, it would be a real failure if you didn't then adapt and then move forward with that change. That's when it's a failure, which I think is a good point. So, um, I think LA really is, a big part of it has been pursuing this dream, but a huge part of it has been just the personal journey of figuring myself out, figuring out life, a lot of time to think, especially when I first moved out
Oh, yeah.
here, which was very, very difficult. Dealing with yourself,
Yeah, of course.
and some people don't, and there's different types of people out there, but I'm somebody who can be very self-convicting, and I think, looking back, it's been for the better for sure, and it's developed me into, onto a path of becoming a man that I'm more and more proud of being. But uh, in the middle of the storm, it's very, very hard to deal with those things.
Oh, I know.
And then on top of that, you're too tall for this role. Your eyes are brown. You can't grow a beard. You don't look like Timothy Chalamet. Ah, damn, you
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Sucks, but so it's like that's also, so, and that's kind of why I told this whole story is because it almost makes it seem funny. And that's the point is like most days I can kind of laugh it off because it's business. And
Hmm.
I try and think of it on my end too. It's like when you want something and you have something in mind that you're an idea of you're thinking of that or the story that you're writing and a character has to be this certain thing. It doesn't matter how good Joe Schmo does in his audition. If this other guy comes in and he's the spitting image of what I imagined, I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what? If he's decent, I can teach him or I can, whatever. So it's like I get it. And this industry is very tough
Oh, it is.
because of that. And every industry is kind of like that. There's networking and relationships a big part of every industry, including this industry as well. And so I think it's just about kind of working hard and staying consistent. And I always try to come and I want to come from a place of being genuine when it comes to making relationships with people, and never having an angle. And I'm glad that God made me that way. Um, because once in a while, yeah, people will come around that you haven't talked to in a while. And it's like, hey, why don't you put up a tape for this? Or, I'll put you in that. Or a friend is making a project and they're nice enough to include you in some capacity. So those are all little blessings along the way. And um, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could even like end that off with like a button,
Yeah,
you know what I
yeah.
mean? But hear that? LA right there.
Oh, okay.
Every
No,
day.
I
I
didn't
don't
even
know if you
hear
heard
that.
that. Oh,
No.
the fire truck and the horn or whatever.
Okay.
But um it's God saying, stop, end it. No, I'm kidding. Just let him ask you the next question. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's kind of that's a big part of what it's like, and on the
Oh,
inside.
no, yeah,
But
definitely.
again, I feel lucky to even have a shot at pursuing a dream. Not everyone gets to that point. So
Exactly.
I just try and have gratitude. That's all.
Well, it is hard because, like, I mean, I I haven't like really went out for auditions or anything, but like I can only imagine how it feels like you want this role and then you don't get it and you're doing audition after audition. Sometimes you hear back, sometimes you don't. It's most of the times it's them saying no. There's like 20 no's to one yes,
Yep.
and you're just looking for that person to throw you to a bone to give you a chance because like you're not Timothy Chalamet or anything, but like you want to someone to give you that chance, and I'm the same way. Like with the when I do like reaching out to interview different people, like perfect one was the recent one with David, and his agent was booking David on like Extra and Entertainment Tonight and Pride magazine and and somehow I got in there. And I was like, I told the agent, I was like, I want to thank you because I know you have David on this. You have him doing like these big places. So I
Mhm.
appreciate you giving him time to do something small and do something with me. And he was like, yeah, of course. And his agent says, he says you have to start out. And
Mhm.
not everyone's going to be these big ones, and the little guys have to catch a break too. And I was like, wow.
Absolutely.
I said, an agent that actually has a soul. I said, that's awesome.
Those are the people you hope to find, you know. I feel very lucky thus far. I feel like my path has been, for the most part, pretty protected in who I've interacted with and the people who have come into my life, luckily, and me and theirs. And you just hope that, yeah, that they got a pure soul and that you're dealing with people who have empathy and that care, you know, because you know, I mean, everyone's got to have their shot, right? I mean, there was uh even when I think about like, and this is semi-related, so this might sound stupid, but when I think of acting classes and there's like methods of acting, I'm like, well,
Yeah.
somebody at some point made it up because it worked for them, you know? And so in the same vein, when it comes to somebody, you have like a Timothy Chalamet and you have, you know, a Florence Pugh, and you have all these different people who are incredible. And of course, some of it involves like, yeah, maybe like their mom is a journalist or their dad's a writer,
Mhm,
or,
mhm.
and that's fine. And I think that like, yeah, there's always like that tinge of jealousy of like, oh, it's not fair. But everyone who says that would be lying if they said it's not because they wish they had that into. You
Oh
know what I
no,
mean?
yeah,
It's
right, yeah.
only it's all, because they're still talented people and they deserve to be there. They just had, an opportunity to be seen. And that's the goal for everyone, you know. But that being said, there are people like Dustin Hoffman who he's an incredible actor, and he found his way in on a chance, and he did his breakout role. I was with my friend Michael about a month ago, and we were watching his master class, and he was talking about, he did his breakout role that he didn't know was his breakout role at the time. Goes back to New York. No one wants to see him. He goes in the room to audition, gets out two words. All right, see ya. Goodbye. Thank you for
Oh
coming.
my God.
We've seen enough. But then that movie comes out, and now he's Dustin Hoffman. And everyone,
Yeah.
now we're looking for a 20-year-old Dustin Hoffman. You know what I mean? So it's like that's how it is. You got to convince people that you're the guy.
Hmm.
Um, and it's like how do you have that confidence and also retain humility, which I think is extremely important because like in this whole process, one of the things I don't want to lose is myself,
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
exactly.
And so how do you walk into a room and it's like you're the guy, but also you're very humble, genuinely from the inside out, not just like speaking like a humble person and being humble on the outside, but like truly. Um, and I think, yeah, part of it involves luck and people seeing you, and I think it's all just about constantly refining your balance in life because everything around you is always changing. You're changing, your
Oh,
friends
yeah.
are changing, the world is changing, the industry's changing. What people desire is changing in this sense of entertainment. So it's like everything's always moving, and uh, I think hope is a very underrated quality, and optimism. And it's like you just gotta hope that you get lucky, and then when you do get lucky, you gotta show up and do a good job and be
Exactly.
ready, So I think the mentality that I try to carry is just to be ready. And it's, sometimes it gets hard when you're in a part of your personal life that you feel like you're in a slump or you're kind of drained of your energy just because of things that are happening around you. And I'm personally a spiritual person. I'm a Christian, and
Oh,
a
no.
big part of my life is, just trying to pray through those moments and focus on the good and have an act of gratitude. And I think mindset alone can kind of carry you through and give you peace. But even I fail sometimes, and I avoid prayer, and I
Well, yeah, I
avoid,
mean,
I avoid pursuing the very things
you're
that
only
I would
human.
tell my friend to do. You know what I mean? Pray about
Yeah,
it, this and that. And then like when it comes to my struggles, I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I want to figure it out on my own.
yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
all in all, I think life can get messy, not
Hmm.
necessarily in a bad way, but it's like you just got to you got to find your way through and keep doing your best, you know? And sometimes, yeah, you got to let yourself feel what you feel if you're frustrated or if you're stressed or if you're sad. But I think there's a certain point of like if you're wallowing in it too much, it's probably not a good thing and it's not going to do you any good, you know?
Oh
And
no, you're absolutely
yeah.
right about that. And
So
like you were saying about like you're only human. So even though you have like strong faith and you pray on stuff and but, I mean when something bad happens or something's not going right, you question that and you're not always going to be positive and you're going
mhm,
to be like, oh man, why is this happening to me? Like that's only human.
totally. Why me, right? The whole
Yeah,
why me thing.
exactly,
And then you
exactly.
think about it, it's like, what did I do to deserve this? And then if you're a certain type of person, you
Yeah,
can think of 20 things you did to deserve it, right? Maybe this is, it's coming back around and then you feel like, oh, no, no, I can't even be mad about it. I don't deserve to be mad. I don't know if you think the same way, but like
uh-huh, uh-huh.
I found myself in that place many times. And it's just like, again, I think it comes back to you just got to give yourself grace, um, and, uh, and just move forward, you know? That's kind of where I'm at in my life. There's a couple cool opportunities that are opening up here and there, and in the midst of some stress, it's like, allow yourself to look forward to those things, and it's okay to be stressed. We're all human, and that's what it is. And but also focus on the good. Sometimes I just got to look in the mirror, and I'm like, I got my arms and my legs. I'm healthy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Um, you know, uh, I have it good.
yeah, yeah,
So I could wake
definitely.
up in a hospital in 2 days and be in bad shape. And I'm like, man, I wish I knew how good I had it before all this, That's the mentality I try to actively kind of give myself when I get faced with those kind of things, because you don't know what you got till it's gone.
Oh no, that's so
So,
true. Like
and that's
that
not to
saying is
diminish
so
anything
true.
that we're going through. You know what I mean? My problems are my problems, and yeah, they're tough, and your problems are yours, and hers are hers, and etc. That's not to diminish anything just because somebody has it worse. Um, but that being said, I think it's good to kind of give yourself perspective once in a while, just to kind of set you back on track. You know?
Oh, yeah, definitely for sure.
Yeah.
I I just have to pause this for one
Yeah,
second
yeah.
because
No problem at all.
I have to punch out for work.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no problem.
I'll be right back. Give me like
Yeah,
2 minutes.
no problem. Take your time. I'm gonna.
All right, buddy. Well, sorry about that, but but
I can't
yeah,
believe you
like
made me wait for 2 hours. Can you guys believe that? No, I'm kidding.
yeah, like I'm one of those people. I'm a diva, so I went
Yeah,
out.
right.
I had like a maca latte or whatever,
Yeah,
and
right.
came
You're
back.
like everyone else, Rocco. I can't believe it. Like everyone else in this city. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding.
I, it's funny you mentioned like I've never been to Los Angeles. Like I never been to that area, but this October I'm going down there because
Great.
I want to see that Halloween Horror Nights at Universal.
Yeah, when are you coming?
I think I'm coming like Halloween weekend. I'm
Oh, cool.
debating whether to do like that weekend or the weekend before that. So I'm probably gonna be go down for like three days, maybe four, because I don't have a lot of time left. So I could only take like a couple days, but I have to plan it around the weekend, so it's like longer.
Sure. Yeah. Well, dude, let me know if you want to meet up somewhere, whatever. I actually have a pass to Universal, so if you want to say
Yeah,
what's up there, maybe grab a bite to eat. Yeah, let me know. I should
yeah,
be around.
definitely.
So,
I always heard about that in and out like everyone like
oh
talks about
yeah,
that like
yeah,
I never ate there.
yeah. It's not like, and here's the deal about In-N-Out. It's not like a mind-blowing sandwich. Like you're not going to eat it and see the future. You know what I mean? But it's a solid or solid burger. Um, and they're relatively cheap. Like for LA, a meal is going to cost you an arm and a leg, but In-N-Out is still like pretty well priced. Like you can
Oh,
buy like
really?
two burgers, and yeah, it's like I think it's under $10 for like a shake and two burgers. Yeah,
Getting out.
I could be wrong, but I believe so. Yeah, and
Wow,
no, it's
that's
not Get Out, it's
cheaper
In-N-Out.
than here.
Yeah, but no, In-N-Out's like yeah, it's really cool.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll definitely once I book the flight, I'll tell you what dates it is and
Yeah,
stuff. And
yeah,
yeah,
please do. Yeah,
yeah, because I'm a big I'm a big horror fan, so I love like Halloween season and like haunt, going to different haunts and horror movies, and
yeah,
so
yeah. Very cool. I've never done the haunt thing at Universal. I did Fright Fest at Six Flags, where I'm from.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and you being in Philly, I'm sure you've gone to Great Adventure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Yeah. So I have
definitely.
Great America. It's by Chicago. And I've done Fright Fest a couple times where you walk through all the
Yeah,
haunted houses, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
and,
And you act like you're cool and like you're not
yeah,
phased or whatever. You
yes,
put on your
exactly.
little your poker face. Yeah. Yeah, in front of all your friends.
But then there's like times when I really like jump, but then I'm like, did anyone see that? I hope not. And then I'm
Yeah,
like
right.
walking around like all like cool. Yeah, you didn't scare me.
Yeah, right. Exactly. But yeah, I'd love to try out Universal's. I'm sure it's top notch because their theming's like, really good. So
Definitely, definitely. And like I saw like you did a hard was it like a Michael Myers film, like a fan
yeah,
film, a
that
Halloween?
is, I kid you not, and I think it will be forever. I am so proud to be a part of that project.
Yeah.
My buddies back home, actually, my friend Brendan and Anthony. Brendan directed the Michael Myers thing, and Anthony was like the lead role. I think his name is Keith. Yeah, it was Keith. And I got to tell you the story because it was so fun.
Okay.
But they helped me do my hockey reel footage as well. So they were the ones that
Oh,
were they're
really?
hockey players, yeah.
Oh,
And
nice.
they helped me film the stuff that I used to end up, that got me the role in the hockey project. But it was we were just graduating high school. I was at prom, and I see my buddy Cole, and I just gotten my first ever movie role at that time. It was a bit part in this movie called Christmas is Canceled. I was supposed to play the younger version of one of the leads. His name's Michael Nizu, and we ended up becoming friends since then. And unfortunately, my part got cut from the film. They cut the
Oh,
whole past tense thing out of the film, and I mean, to
ah.
say that my heart was broken was an understatement. It was really, I was just gutted. It was my first ever movie, and
Well,
I'm
yeah.
watching the whole thing, waiting for my part, and it was not in the film, and I was just, yeah, I was really, really upset about that. But down the road, good came out of it with, relationships and things that you didn't expect, right? Like, I was like, why would you do that to me, God? It felt like the biggest switch out ever, and people are like, well, you still got paid and this and that, and you don't want to hear that right after you get, cut out of the movie. It's like, I don't care,
I
it's not about
know.
the money,
I
you
know.
know.
I just wanted my
But
face
yeah, I
to
want
be
to, I was in the
seen.
film that I achieved the dream.
Yeah.
And I was like, at the very least, if I never get anything else in my life, I can say that I was in a movie. And unfortunately, my name's in the credits, but I am not in a single frame as far as I am aware. But anyway, um, at the time, it was just before I'd filmed for it, and so we're at prom, and this kid Cole, I'd known him since preschool. We used to carpool, etc. So we're,
Oh,
we're
wow.
uh, I'd known him for a long time, and I was like, dude, I just got my first movie. He's like, no way. And he's like excited. And he's like, dude, I'm going to be in a movie. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, like me and my hockey buddies we're making a movie, and they gave me a part in it and this and that. I was like, okay, like interesting. I never expected that from those guys. Not that, I didn't think they were talented, but it's like, why are you guys making a movie? But that's cool, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I had no doubt that Cole would kill it because Cole's just one of those guys that, he's cool and he's relaxed and he just does his thing. You know what I mean? And he ended up doing a great job. But anyway, so I'm at my buddy's grad party, Anthony, and he's also one of the hockey players. And we're all just kind of talking shop, and the movie comes up, and Brendan is his name. He was there as well. He
Okay.
was like in my math class in high school, but I never like knew him. And Anthony's like, Brendan, why don't you put Vince in your movie? He's an actor, right? You're an actor, right, Vince? I said, yeah. And he's like, yeah, yeah, I think, there's a scene that I could put you in. And so he like literally just wrote a scene that does nothing for the plot at all.
Oh my
But
God.
it's just like it's in the middle of the story, and I play his annoying neighbor who's like drunk, and I'm trying to get him to drink and all this stuff. And it really like reminded me why I wanted to be an actor because we had so much fun, and we had like a little mini premiere for it.
Really?
Yeah. And by that I mean like literally like setting up a projector in a basement, and then everyone's like friends and family came, and we were all like filling the basement. But it was, just a great night and a lot of laughs, and we had a lot of fun. It's like 35 minutes, and it's just if you ever have the chance to watch it, if you have 35 minutes to kill,
Yeah.
and we could talk about it afterwards because I'd love to know your thoughts.
Yeah,
But
no, I'll
it's
definitely watch
just
it.
like it's to me, it's like my own version of like what would be a cult classic because it's
Okay.
just and you'll know what I'm saying when you see it. It's just funny and it's great. And I watch it probably at least like twice a year just because
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's so fun. But and then Brendan and I have since become good friends since then. So a friendship came out of it too. But that
Damn.
was the horror. That is my horror experience. And then after that they made so that was like a fan film for Michael Myers, and then they made
Yeah,
a
yeah.
film last summer, and so I helped him out with that one. I played this guy. So the first one I was Benny, this one I was Lenny, and so I said, if we do Jason, I got to be like Denny or Kenny,
Yes,
just keep the
exactly.
train going. So so yeah, that was a lot of fun, and they're I mean extremely talented guys, and Brendan's a really great filmmaker, and he with every film he does, he has a YouTube channel called BK Films. Everything he does just gets better and better and better, and you just
Oh,
see it's
wow.
really cool. You see this progression of skill with each film that he makes, and so that's also just as a friend, it's fun to see that.
Oh,
But
yeah.
his first film was the Michael Myers one, so I can say that I was there from the beginning. But
That's crazy.
that's thanks
Nice.
to Anthony, kind of being like, "Hey Vince, why don't you put him in the movie?" So, Anthony, if you're watching, thank you. If he's still around. So,
Now, did you watch, like, do you watch the Halloween films?
I've seen the first one. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
yeah, I've seen the first one, and I am so biased in saying this, and I mean, if there's any Halloween fans, they're gonna hate me for saying it, but it's nothing compared to what my friends made.
Really?
Purely on the fact that it's it's a joy for me to watch it. That's it. Like clearly, like Halloween
Okay,
is it's a
okay.
great Halloween's a good film. It's a great
Yeah,
film. It's well
yeah.
made. It's iconic.
Well, yeah.
But in my own life story, the first Michael Myers film I've ever seen was the short that I was a part of. So
Wow.
that is my first Michael Myers film. Uh, so
Okay, okay.
maybe I'll get some flack for that, but uh, you know. But yes, I saw that one, and I got to watch the rest. I know.
All
So,
right.
hmm
So, like, for Halloween season, like, I don't, I mean, I know, like, you're Christian. Like,
yeah, yeah.
if you celebrate Halloween season, like, do
Oh
you
yeah,
have
every
like a
year.
set of horror movies you like watching?
What's weird is like I don't watch like horror movies like specifically during Halloween. Like it's just kind of like whenever I end up
Well,
watching
yeah,
one.
yeah.
But as a kid, I watched. Was it called Halloween Town?
Yes,
There's like was
yes.
it two or three films, right?
Yeah, it's something around there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember really enjoying those as a kid. Coraline was fun. Like I watched
Yeah,
that one.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm not young enough to where I was able to watch film, but like movies and stuff on TV, like when it was just on the program, and you'd go through like the guide and you'd figure out what was on, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm old enough to have experienced that. It was before streaming was like the thing.
Yes,
So
yes.
I would just kind of watch whatever was on in that season for sure. But yeah, those are the ones that stick out to me was Halloween Town and Coraline. Uh,
Nice.
what about yourself? Do you have any like films
Uh,
that really stick out to
yeah,
you?
like I'm a huge horror guy, so like I love the classics like Halloween, Friday the 13th, A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
I love Chucky. Like he makes me laugh. Like the little killer doll that curses everybody
Oh
out.
yeah. Yeah. No, I've seen Chucky. I forgot about Chucky, or I forgot about it, but I forgot to say Chucky, and then
Yeah.
also Friday the 13th. But What I was surprised by was in Friday the 13th that like Jason isn't Jason in that one. I was
I
waiting
know.
for him to have the mask and all that stuff. I'm like, oh wow, like that came after the fact, which I found to be very interesting.
Like he don't actually put the hockey mask on until the third film. Like the first
Oh, really?
film, his mother's the killer, and then
Uh-huh.
he's the killer starting in the second film. But yeah, he don't put on the hockey mask until the third one.
Huh. I figured it, and that's funny because like whenever I end up watching the second one, I would have expected it to be in that one. So I didn't know that he didn't get like his look until the third film.
Yeah, the second one he wears a bag over his head, like a white bag, like the bag you put potatoes and stuff in, like one of those bags.
Like a plastic bag kind of or a
No,
sack.
it's like yeah, the sack, the
Okay,
sack.
cool.
That's what I'm talking about. And he wears the sack over his head when he has like just the eyes cut out,
Okay.
and I'm like, because I remember the first time when I watched that, I was expecting like the hockey mask, and I'm like, wait, why does he have a bag on his head?
Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's neat. I wonder if that was like the plan, if they had like that image of him with the mask in mind the whole time and they were like working towards that, or if that just
Oh, no.
somebody came up with a great idea like after movie two and they're like, I got it. I got it. You know?
Let's put a hockey mask on this guy and make him
Yeah.
like this unstoppable force.
But the cool thing is like that's Jason, you know? I feel like even when you see like the old style hockey mask on an old hockey player, you think of Jason.
I know, right?
You know, it's
Yeah, it's
almost because now
crazy.
like, modern day goalies got the cage or whatever. So it's
Yes,
like,
yes.
I think that Jason might have, he's like it's more his mask than a hockey mask,
Oh, yeah,
now.
definitely.
So I think that that's pretty cool how, with a lot of things in film, and that's one of the many cool things about entertainment is something becoming a part of like pop culture,
Hmm.
like Star Wars, for instance. Like, I thought of it one time because it rolls off the tongue when you say like, oh, like it's Star Wars and this and that, but it's like, it's just Star Wars. Like, what does that mean? When it first came out, it might have been kind of like, to some people, like, all right, that sounds kind of interesting or maybe even boring or whatever they thought about it. But now like it's just such a part of pop culture,
Yeah.
or just saying something like the MCU. Most people know what that
Yes.
means. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So I think things like that are really cool, and I'm sure there's a million other things that like even quotes from films, like funny
Oh,
ha,
here's some classic
like
quote.
I amuse you, I'm a clown, you know what I mean? So it's like or even Home Alone with like I don't know if you've ever joked like this with your friends or like if you're annoyed or if you bump your arm on something and you do the whole like what's your friend when how Joe
Yeah,
Pesci
yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah,
mumbles to
yeah.
himself. So I think that that's a really cool part of the industry as well is like becoming a part of like almost this like everyday speak, which is pretty crazy if you think about it or iconic imagery and all that kind of stuff. I think that's all it's a testament to like that you made like a dent or an impact.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Like, do you dress up for Halloween? Like, are you dressing up or going to any like Halloween parties or anything?
I'd love to, and I always tell myself I'm going to. And it just springs up out of nowhere, and all the good
It comes
costumes are
fast.
gone.
Yeah,
And I'm
it
like,
comes very
man.
fast.
And I always tell myself every year, like, I won't make the same mistake last year. Like, I'll get something, like, I'll get something now, and then I never do. So it's probably good that you're saying this. I should probably start looking pretty soon. But yeah, I gotta think of because I feel like most people do like two different costumes for like a
Oh
weekend
yeah,
or whatever, have two different
yeah,
nights. So I gotta think what I'm gonna do. So what about
yeah.
yourself?
I'm like still narrowing down ideas yet. Like I I don't know. Like every year I always go as something like horror related, and one year I went as Brandon Lee's The Crow. I don't know if you ever saw that movie.
Yes.
Yeah,
With like
one
long
year
hair, did
I
you have long
did.
hair at the
Yeah,
time at all?
yeah.
Oh
Well, no,
yeah.
I just had a wig.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do this year. I'm trying to think of something like I don't know if I should like break the tradition of doing like a horror character and just do something like crazy. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know.
I think one year, if I have the means to, I just want to get like a replica Darth Vader costume and show up with like all the bells and whistles and, you know, just
That
go
would
for
be
it.
that would be awesome. That really
Yeah.
would. That would be
Yeah.
awesome to show up as that.
I don't know. Maybe it wouldn't be. I don't know. It might be hard to like sit down, but
You might you might
I'm
you
I'm
might
in
have
the
a hard
Uber
time
like this,
breathing.
I'm like going around town like Helmet can't even fit in the car. I'm just kind of sitting there like, sorry guys.
You you might like really have a hard time breathing, like how Darth Vader has the trouble breathing. Like you might it might actually be
Honestly,
real,
might yeah, just kind of method. Listen, when I do something, I do it the right way. So
right? Right?
I gotta experience the character's pain and suffering if I'm gonna don the suit. So
Exactly.
no,
Exactly.
I'll leave it to Hayden.
He did amazing. Is that he really did like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was a good role. That was a good role.
yeah. And again, even like when it comes to iconography in film, I mean, how do you come up with something like that? It's just so perfect. I think that is so cool, you know?
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that's all really I gotta say. That's you know what I mean? Like I'm like, man, somebody came up with that and designed it, and it's like everyone knows Darth Vader.
Of course, of course.
You see the
He's
mask, you know the
classic.
breathing.
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
says, Luke, I am your father, the
Yes.
whole
Yes.
nine. So that's pretty cool.
So, what do you like doing during your free time when you're not like auditioning or acting?
Yeah, free time. When I can, I love to be with friends and family, and I think that's been one of the harder parts about being in LA is separation from that. So when I go home, I try and soak it up as best I can. Um, but I love to write. I think it's a good hobby to have.
Yeah.
I always have ideas going on. Unfortunately, most are big budget ideas, and so they're just kind of scripts that I have, you know, that can marinate over time. And if I ever have the means to do them, that'd be great. But yeah, I really like writing. I love music, even listening to music, but playing music, trying to become a better reader. I think it's good to be
Oh,
good at
okay.
reading. So it's like that's something I'm trying to improve upon. I mean, I'm thinking of anything not acting related because I would say like watching a movie, doing this,
Well,
doing
yeah, yeah,
class when I
yeah.
can, etc. But working out, I like to go to the gym and try and stay active. I like to go outside. I think it's important in LA to touch grass. Not a lot of it, so you got to find it and then touch it. Um, but there's a really cool park south of where I live called Kenneth Hahn,
Oh, all
and
right.
it's a really nice park. It's got like a river and a little pond and nice hike. And so I think it's just good, yeah, to get out of the house and get some sun. Um, I'm realizing like, man, I'm kind of boring. I sound like an old
No,
person. Oh yeah, I
no,
like to
no,
write. I like to do my
this is
crossword
good.
puzzles and watch Lawrence Welk on the weekends and like I like a long walk on the beach, drink on the weekends.
Yeah, I like long walks on the beach and
Yeah, right.
sipping the coffee as I'm walking in. And
Yeah, right. Yeah. But that's pretty much the main of what I do. And then, once in a while you get to do something special. But like going to Universal or
yes.
going to a fun like a beach hangout or whatever. But yeah, even I think that's something that, once the novice of being in LA kind of went away, I was like, huh, it's like a day-to-day place for me now. It's just where
Yeah,
I
true,
go to
true.
work and I do what I can do and but mainly like my hobbies are things that would feed back into pursuing the dream.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
just because, it's like when you're it's very tough to even exist in the city. It's very expensive. And you want to make sure that you're spending that time wisely. So the majority of my hobby, like that was pretty much all I could think of because everything else would be kind of pertaining to trying to make things work. Um,
definitely, definitely.
but yeah, I mean, the main thing that I love, no matter what I do in life, is just being with family and friends. That is like probably the most important thing for me.
Oh wow, nice.
So I enjoy that. Yeah.
And you mentioned music and like you love listening. So what are some of the groups or artists that you like listening to?
I'm a couple like before of like Journey in Boston and Steely Dan, America. Elton John, Stevie Wonder, Chicago, Earth, Wind and Fire, Michael Jackson, Bee Gees. I mean, and I feel horrible because I'm going to leave a
Damn.
bunch of them out and I'm going to be thinking after this, like, oh, I forgot this one, like Seals and Crofts, or I forgot, even like Bruno Mars, I think he has a great sound as well.
Oh yeah.
Um, Um, there's some rappers who I think have like great musicality as well, like Travis Scott has a couple songs where I'm like there's this beat switch in 90210 where every time I hear it I'm like if he thought of that, that was really well done. Um, but there's some like country that I like as well. I think like more classic country I'm a fan of just because it's like what I heard some of it as a kid,
Hmm.
like playing in the backyard, like Travis Tritt or uh,
Yes, yes,
or
yes.
Toby Keith or there's so many that I'm not thinking of right now. It's gonna bother me. But anyway, music is a huge part of my life. I'm not gonna bore you with like trying to recall a bunch
No, no,
of
no.
artists or bands or whatever, but
I actually love like all the bands you mentioned. I love I love like the old school, the classic rock, and I know like you mentioned also the crew too. Like when you said
yeah, Motley
Mick
Crue.
Mars was like the old guy in the band, and I'm a big Crew fan. Like I love
Okay,
their
right on.
music, and I mean. I went and saw them live a bunch of times, and lately Vince Neil's voice is like, eh.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hey, uh, I couldn't give my honest opinion, but from what I mean, I have a couple of their songs downloaded on my phone. I think like Dr. Feelgood, I feel like is a good
Yes.
gym song. Like that's like whenever I work out, that'll usually kind of hit at some point. Just because it's got a lot of punch in it and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
at the time, I mean, to sing like that, that's got to be tough to retain that vocal stamina
I
for,
know.
decades on end. So, uh, but no, the crew, yeah, they got some great stuff too. Um, gee, I'm gonna think of so many after this. I'm gonna be like, oh, I forgot that one. Oh, I forgot that one. Even Heart. Have you heard Heart's cover of "Stairway to Heaven" by chance
Oh, yeah, yeah,
at the
definitely.
Kennedy Center?
Definitely. Yes.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
Yes.
so well done.
I
So
mean, her voice is incredible. It's so strong.
yes, yeah. Even Dionne Warwick has a couple. Like I have a couple of her songs that I listen to very frequently. Um, Shaka Khan,
Shaka
she's got
Khan,
some great
yeah.
stuff. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think I just like stuff. It's like it's either I feel it or I don't. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But I think a big reason of why I really appreciate this stuff from back in the day is because the production just I feel like I hear something new every time I hear the song. Like there's like a horn that I didn't hear, a string I
Right?
didn't hear, and the harmonies are like just gold. You know what I mean? It's just so good in my opinion. I could talk about music for days on end. I really could. But yeah, that's like a good handful of what I typically listen to.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So, like,
Yeah.
what do you think would be your go-to karaoke song if you were gonna do
Ooh.
karaoke?
One that comes to mind, I think I'd want to sing Let's Stay Together by Al Green, if you know that song.
Hmm. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I'd probably I wouldn't kill it like Al Green did, but I'd still sing it with my heart. So, you know,
Okay. Okay. There you go.
to a bar full of like 12 people. So, just pour my heart out for them.
There you go. That works.
Yeah.
And you are like you mentioned like you like going into to the gym and working out like you are in great shape and so what's your workout routine like?
I'm gonna be totally honest, I kind of fell off for the last like 2 months. Things have gotten busy in a good way. I've been working a whole lot, and for whatever reason, my that the passion for working out's kind of died just because I'm trying to make sure I get everything else done. And so
Yeah.
that's something I got to refine. But typically, I'd have it's like a 3-day split where you do like chest and back, legs and abs, and then arm and shoulder is like what I would usually
Oh,
do.
okay.
Yeah. But right now, I just kind of like whenever I get down there, I try and hit a little bit of everything and maybe hit the bag a little bit, get my cardio in, do some stair stepper and all that kind of stuff. So I'm still active, but just not. I used to be like very, hour and a half a day active.
Oh, wow.
So I've since kind of tamed down a bit, and I've been focusing more on writing and things of that nature. So
I mean as long as you're out there like you say you like going for walks and stuff like as long
yeah,
as you're
yeah,
doing something like that it's fine like you're still keeping your body going.
hmm totally, totally, yeah.
And like, what about food? Like, what kind of foods do you like? Do do you like to
Food?
eat?
Oh man. I wish I was a better cook, because I'd probably be eating a lot more steak and stuff like that because I love steak and I like good food. I'm just not good at
Yeah.
making. And so I find myself typically going the old chicken and green beans route.
All right. Okay.
Eggs in the morning, or some oatmeal and some bananas and um I'm a sucker for Mexican food, and so like
Oh, I
my what
love
a good
Mexican
cheat
food.
meal for me would very much be like a burrito
Yes.
and chips and
Yeah.
salsa, just so good. Uh, a lot of boring foods. One of the many reasons I love going home is my mom always makes some good meals, and it's very
Oh,
refreshing to have good food. I'm like, oh, there's hope.
yeah.
Good food exists. But and she always tells me every time she's like, Vince, you gotta learn how to cook, and I'm like, I know. But like, and I'm not saying that I'm right for this, but like when I'm hungry, I just want to eat. I'm ready to eat. So I typically like something that I can get done, within
Oh,
10,
yeah.
20 minutes. I don't want to spend like an hour marinating this and
No, I
boiling
know
that. And,
exactly.
you
Exactly.
know, again, I'm not saying, I should be doing that, but yeah, I don't know right now. It's just not the vibe.
Yeah,
So
no, I'm definitely there too. Like I'm always doing like fast stuff. I'm like, I don't feel like doing that. I'm not cooking that for 2 hours. Nah.
yeah. But listen, I make a great egg in the morning. I can make a great egg.
There you
Just a
go. There
dash,
you
a
go.
dash of that pink salt, some pepper, man, that'll do the trick.
All
So,
right, I like that. I like that.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
So, what do you think? What topping do you like if you're eating like pizza or ice cream? Like, what's your
Ooh,
topping on that?
it's between two things. So I like the classic pepperoni. I think you can't
Of
go
course,
wrong with the
of course.
pepperoni pizza. I also, and I'm an Italian partially. I'm many things, but
So
my
many things.
dad would probably hate me saying this, but I actually really do enjoy barbecue chicken pizza. I think it's
I like that a
really
lot. I like
good.
the
Throw some
barbecued
banana
and the
peppers
hot
on
one.
top, some banana peppers. Oh,
Hmm.
so good. I love the flavor. Yeah. What
Oh,
about you? What do you choose typically?
me, I know like a lot of people cringe with this, but I love anchovies on pizza. Like a lot of
Hmm.
people don't like that. Like they cringe when I say that, but that's my go-to topping. Like when I get a
No,
pizza.
hey, dude, that's totally normal. No, I'm kidding.
He's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
you don't eat that around me. No.
Yeah, that's funny. No, I mean, hey, you like what you like.
Yeah, definitely. Look, when I go out with friends, I never order it because they get like really like. So I'll just eat like a plain pizza or like a chicken,
Ah, you
like you
poor
said, like
thing.
the barbecue chicken. I like that, so
You
I'll
hold
get
yourself
that.
back. You hold yourself back in front of the friends, really?
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
got to show them who you are, you know? I think they'll accept you for it. Worst things
True,
have happened. Worst things have
true,
happened.
true. And, and what if like you mentioned like the MCU and stuff? So do you have a favorite superhero and villain?
Uh, I would probably have to name off a couple. I think Spider-Man. I mean, and I'm not going to look for some niche hero where I'm like, I'm different. Like Spider-Man's great. Iron Man's great. Uh, I'm a big fan of the direction that I think Superman was taken. I think it's cool that he's like that kind of like Americana
Yeah, definitely,
optimistic
definitely.
hero. I think we've been missing out
Hmm.
on that for a while. Um, Villains. I mean, the Joker.
Of
There's.
course,
I mean,
classic.
for two separate iterations, they both won an Oscar. So it just shows you like that's a character with a lot of potential. And I'm no different from anyone else in really thinking that Heath did something really special
Oh,
in The
yes.
Dark Knight. Which was weird because it was such a departure from, a comic accurate Joker, but it's still everyone still loved it. So that's pretty cool. Um, but another villain, I mean, boy, Joker, I'm at a standstill. I can't
I mean,
I
I
can't
mean,
think.
that's a perfect villain though. Like
Maybe,
the
yeah. I mean,
Joker's a perfect villain.
but I feel like there's something else. I mean, what other? I mean, there were so many good MCU films. What other villains have stood out? Maybe I'll think of one, but what about you? Do any
I'm
stick out to you?
like when he was a villain, because now he's not so much a villain anymore, but Venom. I always loved Venom as a villain.
Okay, cool.
And
Yeah.
and for superhero, like I love like Spider-Man stuff, but my favorite was always Ghost Ghost Ride Rider.
Okay.
Like that was always like
Like
my
the movie
favorite.
version or the comic?
Like I love the movie too. I think
Because that was Nick Cage, right?
Nicolas Cage did amazing as that. Yeah,
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, villain wise, I don't know. I really haven't thought of anything else. I'll be totally real. I mean, Thanos was iconic, and I think the MCU made Thanos,
oh yeah,
and Josh Brolin. I think he did a fantastic job, and it looked awesome.
definitely.
Um, I like the guy from the Guardians 3 movie. The villain from that was pretty cool.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
He was interesting because it's like,
Hmm.
from a logistical standpoint, you could almost understand what he's doing, but he is a bad guy. And I think that the best villains are the ones that you could, I don't want to say relate to at all, but the ones where it's like it's well explained why they do what they do, you know? Because I'll be honest with Thanos, like I thought to myself for a little while, like, he wants to erase half the population so the other half can thrive.
Yeah,
But why didn't he just like double the resources?
that's a good point. That's a good
You
point. I
know?
like that. I
And
like
maybe
that.
I'm sure there's someone out there who's got the answer. I don't. So, but that's the only reason I'm like, yeah, like it was great. But, that's my question where it's like a kind of I'm like, I don't know. But, still cool. Still looks cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good point. I like that.
But I think Ultron had a lot of potential too from
Yes,
Age of
yes,
Ultron, which it's
yes.
a bummer because it's called Age of Ultron, but it's like, it's more like a couple days. But
Yeah, basically. Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I think, and of course they were going for the main Thanos arc, but I think even Ultron could have been a really cool saga ending villain, especially, and maybe they were just like a tad bit too early on it because I think AI is like the talk of the town now.
Oh,
He'd
of
be
course.
such a great villain right now, you know? Because AI, like everyone's, you got a lot of different opinions on it. A lot of
Hmm.
artists don't like
Hmm.
AI, and so it'd be a really neat thing to explore all of that because I think it's just more unfortunate that he was in and out in one film.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think that he had a lot of potential.
I would like to see something more with yeah, no, definitely, definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. So,
And I have to ask, like you have amazing hair, so do you do anything to it?
uh, the main thing, for the longest time, I like washed it every day, and in high school, I used to like try and hairspray it to hold it into place,
Yeah.
which, I don't know what I was thinking, but it's not good for your hair to do that every day. So now I wash it just about once a week. My hair doesn't get too greasy, and so I can get away with it kind of getting quote unquote dirty. Even like, and of course, if I fall in mud, I'll wash my hair. I'm
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean? But like, the hair, yeah, like, I think it's just more so like, not washing it as frequently. It'll puff up a little bit more, and it'll have like more volume. But there's nothing really that I do
Oh,
to it. I gotta get it cut soon. It is just, it's almost out of control now. I gotta get it chopped. My mom's actually a hairstylist, and I'm
oh,
going
she
home
is.
at the I'm going home next week for my brother's bachelor party, and so
Nice,
I gotta get
nice.
it cleaned up for sure. Yeah, and for his wedding, I don't want to look like a hippie up there. So I want to make sure I look well kept. You know, like everyone's
Okay.
gonna think, oh, the kid flew in from LA. Like what happened out there? Looks like a
They're like, oh
mess.
my God, this is what California did to him.
I know, yeah, or what he did to California. I mean, who knows, right? Ever since I moved here, things have gone crazy. No, I'm kidding.
Oh
But
no.
yeah, no, I gotta definitely gotta fix that up for sure. But I think so, in some cases, less is more. You know,
True,
like even
true.
I'm trying to fix my skin up a little bit because ever since I moved to LA, and it's probably for many reasons, but I kind of broke out pretty bad in acne. I didn't know that the water was so hard here. It's very chlorinated. So I didn't know to get
Oh,
a filter, and it dried me out pretty bad. And then I
oh
overcompensated with
wow,
like
really?
moisturizer. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And I ended up kind of finding my fix, and so it's finally healing. I finally figured it out like 2.5 later. It's like pretty much I had to get a portable water softener on top of a filter to
Damn.
just because my skin was used to softer water being from where I'm
Yeah,
from.
yeah,
And so people who've grown up here, like they're immune to it because, since they were like a baby, they were, that was the water that they dealt with. But for me,
true.
it kind of screwed some things up. So coming back to my original point, I try and keep things simple, including skincare. Like I don't like to use a bunch of different topical solutions and all that.
Exactly.
I try and use natural stuff, and um, like I used beef tallow for a while, and that worked. But now I'm using something else that a friend recommended, and it's working fine. So.
I actually wanted to try that, beef tallow, like you mentioned
Mhm.
it. I always wanted to try it. It actually like worked. It did good for the
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah, I think it's just that I'm more maybe in a stage in my life where I'm a little more acne prone. So you got to be
Hmm.
careful what kind you use because some kinds of the beef tallow sit on top of the skin, and that's okay if you're not dealing with acne. But for me, it's like I have to get the kind that the skin kind of just absorbs. So
Oh,
there's
okay.
different brands and different kinds that act a little bit different, probably because of like the mix or whatever. But again, to know that there's three ingredients in the stuff that you're putting on your face, which is just beef tallow, honey, and beeswax, like feels pretty good to know that you're not putting like all these chemicals on your skin,
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know? So yeah, yeah, I think I'd recommend it to anybody. Just to, might as well give it a shot. No
I,
harm in that. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Then you know.
well, yeah. I know that's like the only thing I worry about because I use like the facial products and the creams and all that, and I'm like, am I like doing bad putting chemicals on my face and my skin? And yeah, I've been like really thinking about like going like like more natural, like the beef tallow and all that, because like the stuff I use has like a whole list of shit in there, and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if you read the labels and then you see like all these things and it's like, well, I hope they're not toxic because I have no idea what they are. So
Exactly.
that's where trust comes in, right?
Yeah,
But
right. Exactly.
yeah, no, but I'm totally with you. Yeah, that's kind of why I made the switch as well. I'm like, I just want to kind of, maybe I need to give myself like a reset and just use natural ingredients and, you know, yeah,
For sure, for sure.
yeah.
And I guess like I know we've been on here a while, so I don't want to hold you up, but
No,
like
you're good. Yeah.
the last thing I'll ask you is where could fans follow you, and if you have anything else like you're working on, and I mean I know your movie's out, the hockey movie, and
Yeah. No, I appreciate that.
yeah.
You could follow me on Vincent Ranola with a dot in the middle, and that's the last name is spelled like granola, but with no G. And um, coming up, I'll be in an indie film. I have a little bit part in a film called Bound for Glory. A friend of mine, Michael Nizu, who I talked about earlier, is making that film, and he was kind enough to kind of throw me a bone, and I still had to have the formality of auditioning for the part, but I'm excited to be a part of that, and everything else is a maybe, you know. It's just we'll kind of see what happens, and um, certainly a good handful of auditions and stuff like that coming up, which is awesome, and I'll be
Nice.
staying busy on my end of things, but. Yeah, yeah, well, we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, Power Play, that's on an app called Salty TV. And we had a lot of fun on that one. It was a great crew. And then I have a project coming out soon on the same app um called I think it's called Hollywood Heartthrob, and it's like a soap opera kind of
Oh,
like
really?
it's like a play on a soap opera, and I play a character named Jonathan, and that was another project where, it was just I got lucky working with some cool people, and it's been a lot of fun. So
So
that should be coming out sometime I think next month. So
are you playing the Hollywood heartthrob?
I don't even feel justified in saying that, but apparently I am. When
There you
it
go.
was the
There you
working
go.
title was called soap opera, and then they changed it to Hollywood Heartthrob, and I'm like, oh boy, because I knew that meant I believe that they were talking about me, and I'm like, man, I don't. Thank you. I appreciate that, but uh, yeah, that's what it's called now. So,
Yeah,
I
see,
believe I am the character in question.
I
So,
that's awesome. I love it. Like
yeah.
you have to go around giving that smile now and like a little wink and
Yeah, right. Yeah. Try and be Mr. Smooth. Yeah.
exactly.
Uh,
Yes.
I'll be acting on and off the screen, Rocco.
Okay, there
But
you go. Wow, it was really awesome talking to you and meeting you. Like you're a really
likewise.
awesome guy. Like
Thank you
thanks
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you very much. No, I really enjoyed talking with you. And please, again, let me know when you're out here and we can meet up and say hello and be
Yeah,
great. But yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
yeah, definitely, bud. Well, have an amazing day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay.